Hey everybody, PCOcast here. Welcome back to more Everlasting Summer. I apologize if I sound kind of sleepy in this recording because I just had a very long day. So, anyway. The camp was drifting off for an afternoon nap. Only Jenda stared at me through his glasses. Of course he was staring somewhere else, but I had a feeling that he was constantly watching me. I bet he knows where Shirk is hiding. He just can't say anything. The disappearance of the Cybernetics Club's leader made me think. Maybe it's got something to do with my case. Oh, Pioneer. The nurse stood in front of me. I looked at her curiously. Go and take my place in the infirmary. I have an urgent call. Somebody is injured. Me? Yes, you. Take the keys. Well, that's weird. The nurse threw me the keys and ran away. Ran away? Why me? Is there anyone else in this camp? What exactly should I be doing? What if something happens? Oh, what do I do now? I missed my chance to refuse. I stood in front of the door uncertainly. On the one hand, there's nothing to worry about. I'll spend half an hour or so here and she'll be back. But what if someone comes in for actual help? With a broken leg or a head injury? I began to worry too much. I hope that there are no injuries more serious than bruises and scratches in this camp. But at the same time, I could not shake the idea that, in a serious situation, I would be absolutely useless. I don't even know how to perform CPR. A magazine on the nurse's table caught my attention. A good way to relax, I guess. This is labeled Soviet Fashion. The publication date or month were absent. Of course they were. However, this is not a surprise. There were much stranger things happening here. I didn't know much about Soviet magazines. Maybe they actually didn't have publication dates on them. Models dressed in old-fashioned clothes stared at me from the glossy pages. Nowadays, nobody would wear such clothes. I smirked. I wonder if Slavia, for example, considered this fashionable. I can only imagine what would happen if she appeared in my time wearing something like this. Imagine we are walking in hand. I'm wearing my coat with the hood, and she's dressed in a lavish dress covered with lace and things. Seems like I'm already imagining Slavia in my world. With me. And not only Slavia. This dress better suits Yelena. This cute Sarafan would look good on Alyssa. This skirt and cardigan would look nice on Lena. Only they could be real. Now I saw them, heard them, can even touch them. But still, they are here and I simply don't belong in this place. It's alien to me. I'm just waiting for a chance to get out of here. Waiting because nothing is up to me anymore. I sighed, put my head on the table and fell asleep. I was woken by the noise of the door opening. Lena stood at the door. The nurse isn't here? Then I'll come back later. I'm substituting for her. Since I'm responsible for Pioneers' lives, I should do it with full responsibility. Although, in fact, I was just afraid of something bad happening because of me. Any health complaints? I tried to give Lena the most professional smile I could in order not to confuse her. Nothing special. Just a little headache. Let's do this. Some painkillers, maybe. Of course, I wasn't aware where to find required medicines, so it took me a while to find them. Finally, I handed a metamazole tablet? I don't know. Metamazole? To Lena. Thanks. She smiled. That was completely unexpected, and I lost touch with reality, staring at her. What? Lena turned awkward in an instant. Listen, I've been wondering, do you like this? I don't know what got into me, but I grabbed that magazine from the table and showed her that picture of a skirt and a cardigan, which would really suit Lena in my opinion. Maybe I went completely nuts, thinking about all the girls being in my world. Or maybe I wanted to distract myself instead of just waiting for the nurse to come back. Lena looked at the picture. Yes, I guess. Is stuff like this in fashion? I guess. She got confused and started blushing. Why do you ask? Really, why? Wow. I think you'd look gorgeous in it. Hey, hey. Sure, let's see how things progress. I don't know, that might be pushing it. No, I'll just say it. Thank you. It's alright. I'm just being completely honest. We were quiet for some time. How's your headache? Much better, thank you. She smiled. I'll be off. Good luck. Lena went out and I continued to look through the magazine. After a while, somebody knocked at the door again. Seems like the infirmary is the most popular place to go. Suddenly I decided to roleplay a nurse, just a male version, and said, "Come in." The door opened and Yolana entered the room. Wow, did I miss the moment when you decided to start knocking? Anything wrong with me knocking? She frowned. Where does it hurt? Why on earth would I tell you? Where's the nurse? Right in front of you. I imposingly crossed my legs and looked questioningly at her. I'd better go. It'd be better to die than be treated by you. She smiled mischievously. You didn't even let me try. Yolana thought for a moment. Though you could give me some pills. What's bothering you? Took her some time to reply. A heavy stomach. Sure it's not an empty head? I muttered under my breath. What did you say? Nothing. Give me a second. I found the pills in the first drawer I opened. Thank you, doctor. She smiled cheerfully. Watching Yolana, I could not imagine how such an optimistic and active child could have any health problems. Overdose of stolen candies? Got food poisoning from the canteen? She gave me a baleful look. No, I left everything for you. Oh, and slammed the door. Yolana ran out of the infirmary and slammed the door. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Again, I went back to studying Soviet fashion trends. Time passed, but the nurse was still absent. I wasn't searching for a Shurek. Wasn't looking for any clues concerning my situation. I was just sitting and flipping through a magazine. Just for a moment, I felt quite satisfied with this situation. So far, everything that has happened here could be seen as just a trip to a summer camp, and if nothing changes anytime soon, then I can start worrying. Again, somebody knocked on the door. Did I miss the outbreak of an epidemic? Slavia was standing in the doorway. Oh, hi. Isn't the nurse here? Hi. No, she's not here. I'm taking over for today. Great. I'd like... She hesitated. What? By the way, Semyon, Slavia said and looked intently at me. What? Seems like I lost my keys. Have you seen them anywhere? Sure I have. Yes, here. I found them near the canteen yesterday. Wanted to return them to you, but I forgot about it. I was really bad at lying. My cheeks were red, my eyes were wandering around, and hands were constantly shaking. Here. I was already preparing myself for an appropriate scolding, but Slavia only took the keys and said, Thanks. So what have you come for? I really needed to change the subject. Does anything hurt? No, it's nothing. Strange. I wouldn't even think that such an open person as Slavia would keep something quiet. If there's something bothering you, tell me. That's why I'm here, to treat people. I smiled widely. No. I mean, yes, but no. Hearing that made anything possible, even division by 0. So how can I help you? You? I guess you can't. She smiled and was going to leave, but suddenly stopped. However, could you step out for a minute? Why not? Okay. I stepped out of the infirmary and leaned against the wall. I wonder what might she be doing? Something that I can't even see? After a minute, the door opened and Slavia came out. She was carrying a small bundle. Probably won't ask about it, because she's clearly doesn't want me to be aware of what's going on. Good luck, I shouted after her. Thank you. She gave me one of her sweet smiles before leaving. Weird. I looked at the time. It was getting late. I'd read the magazine backwards and forwards, but the nurse still wasn't here. Suddenly the door burst open and Alyssa rushed inside. She looked at me piercingly. What are you doing here? Sitting, I admitted honestly. Okay then. It's even better without the nurse, she murmured. Are you sick? I asked acidly. Alyssa didn't answer and came closer to me. Move over. Why? So I can open the drawer, isn't it obvious? What for? She got angry. None of your business. Well, I'm kinda in charge here. She gave it a moment's thought. Then give me some activated carbon. Stomachache? Yeah. She grinned sharply. Got the feeling there was something wrong here. No. You can't have it. Really? Stomachache? Really? Doesn't seem so. What, do I have to toss my lunch all over the place for you to believe me? I don't know what terrible things can be done with activated carbon, but I'm sure you will think of something. She hesitated. And what if you're right? There, I knew it. Then I'm certainly not giving you anything. Alyssa tried to get to the drawers, but I blocked the pillbox with my chest like Alexander Matrosov. Alexander Matrosov was a Soviet infantry soldier during Great Patriotic War. Posthumously awarded the title of the Hero of the Soviet Union for blocking German machine gun with his chest. Well, ouch. For all her impudence, she was still just a girl, and she had no chance of pushing me aside. Whatever, I'll find it somewhere else. She turned away and headed to the exit. At the door, Alyssa stopped and looked back. By the way, the camp leader and the nurse are carrying a pioneer with a broken leg. I really don't care, but they seem to be struggling. Yeah, sure. Come see for yourself? Alyssa seemed to be lying, but on the other hand, as long as I can see her. I came to the door and looked outside. No one was there. Where exactly? You haven't reached here yet, then. She made a helpless gesture. Have fun. I returned to the table and only then realized that one of the drawers was open. Ooh, how did she make it so quick? Turned my back for just a second. Though, what evil can come from activated carbon? Who knows? All kinds of bad things, I'm sure. It was 15 minutes till dinner and the nurse still wasn't back. I guess just leaving the place like this won't do. She asked me to look after it after all. And who knows what might happen if I leave. Though who would want to steal anything from here? Except for Alyssa, stealing activated carbon. I opened the magazine again and began flipping through it for the nth time. The fashions of the 80s weren't that fun anymore. Yawning got me several times. It was already 6 o'clock, so dinner had already started. Of course, I had to be on watch till the end, but my stomach seemed to have its own opinion on the matter. Stood up and steadily headed to the exit. A rustling sound came from behind the door. Could it be someone else who got poisoned? Broke their arm, or something even worse? I sighed heavily and pulled the doorknob. However, there was no one out there. It was just my imagination. I returned inside and instantly noticed that something had changed in the infirmary. To be precise, an apple had appeared on the table. But where from? Fruits can't just materialize from thin air by themselves, can they? Though in this camp, anything's possible. Chances are someone just brought it here. Maybe Lena wanted to thank me. Given that she's all shy and... But wait, how could she just slip past me like that? Lena wouldn't climb through the window after all. So there must be something else. I was suddenly overwhelmed by fear. What if the apple's poisoned? But why would someone complicate things when I'm here totally helpless and can be killed way more easily? Or it might be the apple which Eve tasted in the Garden of Eden. In that case, I certainly shouldn't eat it. Same second, my stomach reminded me it was there by rumbling traitorously. However, it would take time to close the infirmary to reach the canteen to get food. My stomach is about to eat myself. There's nothing wrong, I guess. Why would you eat that apple? It just appeared out of nowhere. Dude. Once again, I tried to remember if this apple was here before. In the end, it must have appeared from somewhere. Maybe it got here through the window. The shutter was slightly open, so someone must have reached in and put it there. Nothing serious, however... Good grief, well at least I can choose not to eat it. That seems ridiculous. No. Even assuming that this is a normal apple, in any case, I shouldn't eat unwashed fruits. Just like that. I found a reason for my fear and put the apple away. It was time to go for dinner. Along the way, I ran into Electronique. How's it going? Did you find Shirk? No, still no sign of him. Don't worry. We'll find him. Tried to cheer him up. Too much time has passed. I'll just keep on searching. What about dinner? No, finding Shirk's more important, he muttered thoughtfully. I left him at the crossroads and wished him good luck. Pioneers crowded in the doorway. I quickened my pace, trying not to be the last one in line, at least for today. And I was lucky. In the far corner was an absolutely empty table. Took my dinner quickly and sat at the table. Tonight's dinner consisted of fruit, soup, and a pair of buns. This set surprised me at first, but the taste was actually nice. I concentrated on eating. Did I say meeting? Eating. Lena, let's go here. Look, 3 free chairs. Lena and Miku stood in front of me. Are these taken? Wondered Lena. No, take a seat. Of course, I wish you were alone. Thank you. As soon as Lena said that, Xenia jumped out from behind her back. I'll sit here. There are no places left, she said, putting her tray on the table and sitting down, not even waiting for my answer. Sure, make yourself at home, I muttered sorrowfully. What? Nothing. To tell the truth, I wanted to reduce the whole company to just Lena, though neither Miku nor Xenia were causing much trouble. Except one was too talkative and the other was too arrogant. But, nevertheless, they were absolutely harmless, especially comparing to some others I could name. Oh, seems I forgot my key. Don't worry, take mine. I was surprised by Miku's short reply. Do you live together? Of course, didn't you know? Together, our cabin is the rearmost, the furthest from here. The last one. I wouldn't have been surprised if somebody told me that Lena lived with Slavia. Or with Xenia at worst. Even Electronique. But silent and shy Lena and excessively talkative Miku is a pair. That's really a surprise. Did you find Shirk? Strange that Xenia is disturbed by someone's problems. No. Surely he's at the village buying cigarettes. Or vodka. She snorted. Village? At that moment the conversation got much more interesting. Got a problem with villages? Xenia looked amazed. You mean there's a village nearby? I think so, she said uncertainly. I looked at Lena and Miku, but they were busy with their meals and did not pay attention to our conversation. You mean you don't know exactly? Why should I care? Xenia stared at her dish. But there must be something nearby. Listen. Listening. I don't know. Will you let me eat? Seems like I won't get anything from her. Though there is a chance that she really doesn't know. The remaining time was spent listening to Miku talking about some nonsense. I was just going slowly mad in silence. Obviously, the first thing I did after getting out after that was inhale a great breath of fresh air. The sun was setting. I decided to take a walk. It's highly unlikely that I'll find anything more exciting to do for the rest of the evening. That way, something interesting could arise quite unexpectedly. What the hell was that? I was approaching the square when I heard a loud bang. Seemed like something had exploded. I was paralyzed. I'm in a hostile environment, not knowing the rules and laws of this place. It would be better for me to run, but at the same time, I was curious. Probably I would have just kept standing there, but somebody grabbed my hand. It was Olga. Why are you standing here? Let's go, see what happened. Can't you ever manage without me? I begged her pitifully. Shouldn't be anything serious, I hope. When we came to the square, there was already a crowd of pioneers. Olga vigorously pushed through the crowd and approached the crime scene. Obviously someone had tried to blow up Jenda, but the attackers failed. The monument was still standing upright. There were only dim ash traces on the pedestal. Well, who did this? She looked over the crowd of pioneers. Surely it wasn't done by an organized terrorist organization. These guys all came here just to look at what happened. I noticed Yelena and Alyssa in the crowd, and it looks like our camp leader noticed them too. You two, come here. They approached reluctantly. Why always me? If you think so. Show me your hands. Ugh. What's wrong with them? I looked closer and saw that they were smeared with black. Uh-oh, now it's clear. What did you make a bomb with? The junior terrorist seemed to hesitate over whether or not to confess, but then blurted out proudly, "Activated carbon, saltpeter, and sulfur." Wait a minute. Carbon? Carbon that she stole from the first aid kit. Why exactly the monument? What did this honored man ever do to you? The fighter for the rights of... I could hardly imagine how long she would have kept on scolding Alyssa if Electronique hadn't popped out at that very moment shouting, "I found it! I found it!" Everyone turned towards him. He held a boot in his hand. "Here!" Electronique boastfully shook it over his head. "It's Shirk's boot!" "Okay, calm down. Tell us in detail where you found it." "In the forest, on the way to the old camp." Whispers ran among the pioneers. Old camp, the old camp. Are you sure? Absolutely. What's so special about this old camp? I joined in the conversation. It's nothing special, really, she stammered. One of Savignoc's legends tells of the story of a young camp leader's ghost living there. She fell in love with a pioneer, but he rejected her, and so she killed herself. She committed harakiri with a kitchen knife. Next day, that boy was hit by a bus. Oh, damn. Yolanda ran out of the crowd. Bus. I refrained from asking about the route number. But science doesn't acknowledge the existence of ghosts, so we have nothing to be afraid of. Anyway, somebody should go there. Suddenly the crowd started to thin out. Olga, it's almost night. Maybe tomorrow? I turned around and saw Slavia and Lena. What if at night something happens to him? No, today, right now. By the way, where is this place? Electronique roughly described to me the directions and told me the story of the old camp. The camp leader looked at me attentively. If you think that you're the only man here. I looked around the area. Of course. Electronique was quick to flee. I didn't want to walk in the woods alone. If you ask me, I would... Alyssa, Slavia, Yelena, or Alina? Well, of course I'm going to go with Lena at this point. Not that... I don't know how helpful she'll be in the woods, though. Won't have to go there alone, will I? Olga thought for a moment. You may be right. We'll go together tomorrow. For the last few minutes, I noticed that Lena had a strange look on her face. As if she wanted to say something, but didn't dare to. The pioneers started to disperse, as if they had forgotten about Alyssa and the explosion. Even our leader seemed to calm down and didn't react when the wannabe terrorist left the square, hiding behind Yelena. We should go too. Yes. Night quickly fell on the camp. There was only a brief moment between the first rays of the setting sun till complete darkness here in the south, or maybe in this world. You don't have enough time to enjoy the variety of sunset colors. It was too early to go to bed, but the leader confidently walked to our cabin as if mentally dragging me with her. Olga, I'll take a little walk. Okay. She looked at me intently, but didn't find any reason to object. Shrugged her shoulders and kept walking. I went back to the square. Didn't really want to look closely at the trivial damage done to the Genda statue. It was at the exact center of the camp. If you don't know where to go, you should start from here. I sat on the bench and looked to the west. I wondered if the Earth here revolves on its axis as it should, or whether there was an actual north or south. It's hard to say. At this time, I didn't have any ideas on how to check the fundamental laws of nature. Hi. Lena appeared next to me as if from nowhere. Hi. Can't sleep? She looked at me in surprise. Well, yes, it is still early. May I sit? Yeah, of course, sit down. I moved over a little. Saying a little was, in fact, an understatement. I actually shifted myself to the end of the bench. Thanks. Lena sat and looked at the sky as if she'd forgotten about me. It's sad. What is sad? That Shirk disappeared. Yes, things aren't too good. She was as calm as usual, keeping silent most of the time. She blushed and felt embarrassed only when she had to speak or do something. That same silence, which could be seen as awkward by many people, including myself, was quite natural for her. I could hardly imagine Lena making an effort to carefully choose the right words to start a conversation or make a good remark, trying not to look stupid, or alternatively trying not to look as rude as Alyssa. I just wasn't able to compare her to anyone. She was just content with being herself. Does that mean that my attempts to start a conversation with her could be seen as rude? That the expression "become friends" could be interpreted as an intrusion into her private life? But something in this girl attracted me. Maybe it was her mysteriousness, and she certainly wasn't lacking in appearance or feminine charms. I didn't have an answer to that. That's why I still hadn't been openly accused of being annoying. I'm sure he'll be found. How can he escape from a submarine? Lena didn't seem to appreciate the joke. This camp just must seem like a large submarine to me only. I hope so. Tomorrow, Olga will call the police. They'll find him for sure. What if during the night? Her expression grew sad. What if something happens to him? Alone at night in the forest? Anything could happen. He must be lonely. No one forced him to go there. What if he just got lost? He shouldn't go walking in the forest alone. I don't have any pity for him at all. Shrek may be sitting there all alone. Of course I pity him. I felt ashamed. In any case, Lena was right. A person was missing. Anything could happen during the night. We aren't seriously going to search for him now, are we? She didn't reply, still looking somewhere far away, where the last rays of the sun shined over the tops of the old trees, as if trying to leave a bit of its warmth with the people. Do you really think that roaming around the forest in the dark is a good idea? Probably not. For some reason, I was sure that was exactly what she thought. Recently, I seemed to be starting to understand Lena even without words more often. And she seemed to be influencing me psychologically, making me agree with her. Lena's silence was more informative than any chatter or attempts at persuasion. It looked for him during the day, already. Everywhere? She stopped watching the sunset and looked at me. I don't know, I think everywhere. What about the old camp? For the first time, her words sounded self-assured and not vague or indifferent. Where is it? I have no idea. Electronic told us. Well, if you trust him. I grinned stupidly, but Lena kept looking at me seriously. Sure, if it's not too far. So, you do want to go? Of course I don't. We can, if it's just there and back, quickly. Okay. Lena smiled and gave me a flashlight which appeared from nowhere. Yes, that'll be useful. Does this mean she prepared beforehand? And nothing was up to me? I sighed as if doomed, and headed to the forest with her. And that is where we'll leave it for this episode. Yeah, we'll see what happens as we make our way through the dark forest. I mean, what could possibly go wrong, right? See you next time.